We're about to set off in a new set of regulations in Formula 1. The last time this happened, things looked incredibly promising for the racing, for Ferrari, and in this race, even Mercedes had something to be happy about. The first race after Abu Dhabi 2021. It's only 4 seasons ago, but it feels like a lifetime ago since the ground effect cars were introduced, and we went racing without dirty air. Oh, how young and naive we were to think this would last. That's why I picked the Bahrain 2022 race for this funny race review. Enjoy. Run intro. The ground effect regulations started a year later due to COVID. There were some protests against racing in a country with such a lack of human rights, but they raced anyway. That discussion has since died down now, speaking 4 years later. Sports washing seems to work, doesn't it? Due to the epidemic, even this Grand Prix weekend in Bahrain, we had people who couldn't race because they tested positive. Sebastian Vettel, driving for Aston Martin, was replaced by his compatriot Nico Hülkenberg. Nobody expected him to get a full-time seat again in the future, let alone score his first podium. The ground effect cars were introduced mainly to get rid of the dirty air that plagued the previous set of regulations, and in theory it looked good. Red Bull came out of the testing as the winner, but Ferrari was also very strong. Ferrari drove with a beautiful darker shade of red as a homage to their older cars. Mercedes thought they'd blow everyone away with their no side pod philosophy, but it made their cars bounce like crazy because there was this phenomenon called purposing that shattered many drivers' teeth and their backsides due to the stiffness of the cars. McLaren was nowhere, and for the rest in the midfield there were the expected teams. Max Verstappen was defending his first title, and seeing it being somewhat controversial, a certain part of the F1 fandom wanted to see him do poorly. I suppose they got what they wanted first, but were disappointed again in the end. The season didn't start in Australia as we were used to. We couldn't race there because of the restrictions, so Bahrain was our first taste of what was to come. Leclerc on pole, Verstappen P2. Second row, Sainz and Perez. Third row, Hamilton and Bottas. But the Finn wasn't Hamilton's wingman anymore. He was driving for Alfa Romeo. Russell started in P9 and the McLarens, Norris and Ricciardo, started in P13 and P18. Yeah, things were much different then. I wonder if anyone fancies seeing Norris in that type of package again. It could happen, you never know with these new regs. So it's lights out and away we go. Not much happening between the leaders. Leclerc and Verstappen always know how to race each other. Now, Sergio Perez has recently come out with some comments during a podcast about his time at Red Bull. One of the things he said was that he was faster than Max on the sim in 2022, and he was faster until upgrades came in. So, I don't understand why he's 2 places behind Verstappen here, and he's losing 2 places on lap 1. Maybe he thinks we don't remember or something. At this stage of the race, he's behind K-Mag in a Haas. Just saying. It took him till lap 10 to get Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton, who said he would create havoc in 2022. He said he would get revenge on what happened in 21. Perhaps it would have been better if he had quit after that season. Even his big supporter, Matt Bishop, said as much. But Hamilton carried on with his car without side pods. To show how heavy and rough these cars were, Hamilton gave a demonstration after he had pitted for hard tires early in the race. It looked like Bambi on ice. Okay, it's lap 16, and the next sequence of laps promised every F1 fan in the world a thrilling set of regulations, with brilliant, exciting racing. Verstappen had pitted for softs and set after Leclerc. Leclerc pitted not long after, and the two were very close. On lap 17, Verstappen pushed past Leclerc after the straight with a big shower of sparks. In the previous regulations, that would have been it for Charles. There was no way he'd get past Max again with the dirty air. But lo and behold, Leclerc followed car number 1 and got past it again on the same lap, keeping both cars in one piece. Lovely racing here for sure. But guess what? Lap 18, they did it again. Same scenario, same mouth-watering result. On lap 19, Verstappen tried it again, but this time his 20 kilo overweight car made him lock up, which was also spectacular. That was the end of the battle, for this race anyway. Then some pit stops followed, and an almost incident with future teammates Alex Albon and Carlos Sainz. Pierre Gasly still drove for the Red Bull sister team then. It was called Alpha Tauri. Cool sounding name, compared to Visa Cash App Racing Bulls. Anyway, Gasly was on fire that race. Well, his car was. So we got a full safety car on lap 46. Max Verstappen had already started complaining that his steering wheel went heavy in all directions. Verstappen, who's usually very good at restarts, was nowhere when Leclerc sped away. Max even had to look behind him to keep Carlos Sainz from overtaking him. This did not look good. At lap 54, Max complained about a battery problem, which got worse and worse until he had to park the car in the pits. "What the fuck is this?" he said. So 2 Ferraris in the lead, something we haven't seen in 2025. Then it happened to Perez as well. The car just broke down in the middle of a corner. The Sky Sports commentator said it was incredible. They sounded so chipper. The Mercedes team was also very happy. They posted a tweet with the moment Hamilton went past the stricken Red Bull with the caption, "You love to see it." Obviously, I've used this expression many times on Twitter whenever anything went wrong at Mercedes that season. That goes without saying. I'm petty that way. Lewis Hamilton got a lucky podium this way, and George Russell scored his best finish ever in P4. He did nothing but finish P4. This is where the trend started. Kevin Magnussen, in a friggin' Haas, scored P5. Mind you, he replaced Nikita Mazepin due to some geopolitical stuff going on in the world. That's still going on, by the way. Anyway, we heard a very happy Charles over the radio and a very happy Italian-speaking Mattia Binotto. I don't know what they said, but it sounded good. Bellissima. 1-2, baby. And that was the end of the race. The F1 fandom was very happy with this first race of the season with the new regulations. A big group of fanboys and girls loved seeing a double Red Bull DNF, a situation Christian Horner labelled as brutal. Well, wait, what's coming for you later, mate? And obviously, everyone liked seeing a Ferrari 1-2. Especially after a 2025 season with no wins, the team in red leading the standings looks very special. Will we see that again in 26? Well, I doubt we'll see it in 2026, to be honest. As for the regulations, nobody knew at the time that the FIA would let teams develop cars with almost as much dirty air as the V6 hybrid era had, and that racing would become a pull to finish sport again in 2025, that porpoising and stiff cars would ruin drivers' backs, and that Red Bull and Max Verstappen would dominate the sport. Something I didn't mind. Until McLaren took over. Lewis Hamilton never got his revenge and even got beaten by Russell in the following years. Until he went to Ferrari. Well, we know how that's going. So here we are again, on the doorstep of a new set of regulations that look even weirder and more gimmicky than the one before. Will the FIA get things sorted once and for all? Will Mercedes dominate with their engines again? Or will Red Bull still develop the best car like in the old days? So many questions, so much to look forward to. I hope you enjoyed this funny race review. Subscribe for more and take care now. Doei doei. Of regulations. Hello.